a storyboard based on the Reservation blues. Chess lay in the Arley field. Her tiny limbs were sprawled out in all directions, as the flowing ocean of flowers and grasses feathered over her skin and told her stories to her soul. Swift piano music flowed through the soil and raised out of the ground right where she was laying. The notes filled the sky and overcrowded the clouds. As Chess stood up, the melody poured from the heavens and soaked her clothes. The trees swayed to the music. In the shack, Chess pulled up a chair next to the piano. Lukewarm water played a cheerful melody while Chess sat on the side and watched with contentment. He smiled at Chess and gave her an "I love you" wink before looking back at the keys that awaited his gentle touch. "That was beautiful, ain't it?" Lynn Warmwater whispered as she wobbled into the room with child. Chess's youthful smile glistened back at her mother in agreement. "When will we be having a baby?" young Chess asked. Linda Warmwater looked at Chess. "When the white birds decide to bring them," she murmured. Chess got up and grabbed her mother's wrist, pulled her over to the big chair, and patted the seat. Chess always loved these stories. Her mother told them like memorized recipes. When the seasons start to change and the leaves begin to fall, white birds start to circle around the world. Every night the stars twinkle, and one by one they begin to fall. The white birds see the falling stars and swallow them as they ascend past the clouds. As days and years pass, those stars are magically transforming in those white birds' stomachs. One day you will see. A white bird will land on my windowsill and will hand me my baby boy, just like she flew you and Checkers to me. Chess loved her mother's stories, every single one of them. They made her appreciate everything in that little shack. Chess had always imagined of taking care of her baby brother. 6 years later, both Chess and Checkers had forgotten that excitement. It had only lasted a few moments, a few seconds. The baby wasn't meant to be in it, Chess always thought to herself while she lay in bed. From now on, Chess Warmwater was lulled to sleep by yelling, crying, and then silence. Somewhere in the wind she heard the old piano. As Chess went through high school, she felt isolated. It took years to walk back to the shack after school. Since her family had fallen apart, she would rather just stay away. Chess was the only Indian girl at Arley High, the only Indian in the world. Checkers could have been around as a crutch, but decided to do something more important. Chess had always wondered what that something was, but was too humble to ask. On Thursday, Chess secretly followed Checkers like a soldier hiding in the brush during battle. After Checkers fed the chickens and chicks and pigs, she started to walk into town. She ended up in the middle of Arley Cemetery. Chess silently sobbed while Checkers kneeled in front of Backerman's grave and prayed. She prayed. She prayed until he ascended from the clouds and gave them both a warm embrace. "And please, dear God, make everything good again," Chess mumbled, realizing that she should have whispered. Checkers' focus dashed over to Chess. "What are you doing here? How dare you?" Chess was left alone in the barren cemetery. Not only did God leave her answerless, but it seemed that he left her comfortless. Life passed by. Time flew like an eagle soaring with a windstorm. The eagle spread its wings, and Chess grew up. She and Checkers grew up, went through trials and friends. Sooner or later, Chess left her childhood behind with the eaglet, and out of fate found Thomas. "Do you have any brothers or sisters?" Thomas asked. "Yeah, I had a baby brother, Bobby. We called him Backerman. What happened to him?" Thomas asked. Chess got through her stories of Backerman. She got through the tales of her dad playing the old and out-of-tune piano for Missoula, even her family's problems. Then she realized how unhappy she was. The memories of silence throughout the house after her dad beat her mother. When her dad beat her, God still seemed to leave her defenseless. She had not found answers. She had not felt family for years. She was lost. On Thursday, 13 years later, Chess kneeled in that Arley cemetery. She prayed for centuries. She prayed to God. She was back in Arley, back home.